Hey there, welcome again to the Trash Talking Podcast.
Hello all.
We're here to explore the constantly changing world of waste management and recycling across Europe. Our aim is to unveil some of the most innovative recycling methods and offer value advice for adopting a sustainable lifestyle. Expert guests will join us to provide their insights and viewpoints on the critical challenges that our planet is facing recently.
We are your hosts, Carolina
Hello.
and Itziar, and we are here to dive into the sustainability world of another European country. Trash Talking is your go-to source for enlightening discussions about the forthcoming developments in waste management. Stay tuned and we hope that you enjoy the trash talk.
And as we always say, we will show you that talking about sustainability is interesting and necessary. So get ready for today's episode.
This podcast is produced by the Primus Project, where 12 European organizations are working together to recycle plastic for car parts and home appliances. Each episode is about a different European country, and for today we chose Germany.
Okay, so should we get started this year?
Yep, let's go ahead. This episode is a special one because we are doing a collaboration with another sustainability-related European-funded project called INCREACE.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so like in the Primus project, INCREACE aims to boost and improve the share of recycled plastics in added value products.
The project wants to transform the plastic recycling value chain and tackle areas where the use of plastic recycling currently doesn't exist yet. But you will understand better what they are doing in the project explained by today's guests, Theresa and Ronja. They both work at Fraunhofer, which is a partner and coordinator of the INCREACE project. So, Theresa and Ronja, thanks a lot for accepting our invitation to join us today in Trash Talking. It's time for you to introduce yourself.
Hi, and thanks a lot for having us in your podcast. My name is Theresa, and my background is in environmental science. And since the beginning of this year, I'm working as a researcher in the environmental department of the Fraunhofer Institute. And on a personal note, I'm very passionate about the environment, and I try to contribute to a transition towards a sustainable world as best as I can. And therefore, I consider myself quite lucky to be able to dig deep into the sustainability impacts of electronics in my role currently as a researcher, and I try to become part of the solution.
And I am Ronja, working together with Theresa in the INCREASE project. By training, I'm a product designer, and I already focus on the societal and environmental impact of design during my studies. Back then, the first eco-design directive was just launched, and it was a quite new approach to the discipline. And in this directive, it stated that 80% of a product's footprint are actually defined during the design phase and by the design decisions. And I took that as an opportunity for sustainability rather than a burden. I joined Fraunhofer in 2019 for a circular service design project because service design can actually have even be a bigger handle for circularity, because with service design we can promote sustainable habits and also replace consumption patterns by services such as sharing or renting.
Well, we have two different but complementary backgrounds here today. That's really nice. I'm sure it will be a great talk and that your perspectives will be really valuable. We would also like to understand what the INCREASE project consists of. So what is it that you are doing there? What are your main objectives?
So together with Ronja, we have the honor to coordinate the INCREASE project. And INCREASE is a European research and innovation project on boosting recycling of plastics in electronics and other added value products.
We are an interdisciplinary consortium of 18 partners, and we have 5 demonstrator business cases. And alongside of them, we have experts from the fields of material and recycling technologies, but also with societal, economic, regulatory, and management background. And we are all working together on closing the loop in the recycling circles. And with this setup, we cover both. We cover the broader horizon of across the different sectors, as well as the entire value chain with each business case. because recycling is a shared effort of all stakeholders.
Very interesting to hear and very similar to the Primus project. Thank you for the introduction.
Yes, it was a very interesting start for today's episode. So let's continue with the topics that we have prepared about sustainability and plastic recycling in Germany.
Here we go. We have mentioned in other episodes that collecting plastic items in order to recycle them becomes quite a challenge sometimes. As an overview, in 2018, more than 3 million tons of plastic packaging were collected from households, industrial, and commercial packaging, which means that from 2006, the waste collected for recycling increased 75%.
Yeah, that's a lot. Germany has for several decades installed a system of recycling different waste streams. With the introduction of deposit systems for packaging, they have also started to incorporate other principles like reusing. Could you provide us an overview of the current state of sustainability efforts in Germany, please?
Of course, Germany is quite a strong industrial country with a wide range of efforts and initiative across various sectors. And as you already mentioned, our first Kreislaufwirtschaftsgesetz, which literally translates into circular economy law, was installed in 1994 and comprehends, in fact, a 9R hierarchy in order to reduce resource consumption and ensure responsible waste management. And aside of this, the state is currently also pushing for the renewable energy transition, and we have heavily invested in clean energy. And already in the 90s, energy efficiency has been an objective, but increase in production and consumption, we have to say, has actually eroded these gains.
It's here. Did you get that long name?
No.
Well, there have been some improvements then, but definitely not enough if there has been an increase in production and consumption. However, this is a very good starting point for the following discussions, where we will deep dive into some of the aspects you mentioned and bring to the episode specific action examples.
Yeah, you are right, Carolina. This is a good starting point, so let's start with some specifics. We know Germany has developed a strong recycling culture. So what about the recycling and waste management systems in place and their effectiveness in promoting sustainability?
Germany has some systems in place that are highly effective in promoting sustainability and reducing the environmental impact of waste. We could mention some of these waste management practices, and there are a couple of them that are not yet extended in all EU countries. I believe Germany was one of the first countries to introduce a system that should ensure the reuse of packaging materials, especially plastics. With the introduction of the so-called Green Dot in 1990, the industry tried to find a responsible solution for the growing applications of plastics packaging. So in the system, the manufacturers have to pay a fee that pays already for the recovery and recycling, which then for the end user made the waste separation attractive because we do not have to pay for the plastics bin, but for the normal household waste only. But however, this initiative for me also has some downsides because, as I see with my friends, for most Germans nowadays, circular economy means solely recycling. So the concept is totally reduced to recycling. And also all the other R principles are not known. And also one big problem is that most people believe that every plastics part is recycled, which is far from true.
So, the effectiveness of Germany's recycling and waste management systems in promoting sustainability has been a success in some aspects, but that shouldn't stop us from remembering that there's also room for improvement.
Yeah, it seems that we can learn a lot from these actions, but this made me think that it is also important how we communicate the environmental efforts and its results in order to avoid confusion and misinformation.
Exactly. Sometimes we might hear only the positive or negative side of what has been achieved, but there is always more to the story. On the other hand, we would like to know how does the average German citizen contribute to sustainability in their daily lives, and what can people in other countries learn from this behavior?
I feel that the average awareness of sustainability and environmental concerns is actually quite high in Germany, but the daily behavior does not necessarily reflect that. This is partly due to the conflicts of values, such as weighting of comfort versus sustainability, and also people are quite trapped in the system. So, for example, with the recent introduction of a nationwide public transport plan, which allows you to travel the entire country for only 49 euros per month, many people could have an economically attractive alternative to the car. But in rural areas, there is just no reasonable public transportation. So, for example, there is just a bus twice a day, and hence people are too dependent on individual transportation to just adapt to a sustainable solution.
And Germans, I think you see them always traveling in every country, and they take travel by flight as a personal right for their well-deserved holidays. And due to very cheap and even subsidized plane tickets, many people will keep flying anywhere, no matter of the carbon footprint. And the same applies for eating meat every day, while being well aware of poor conditions of the meat industry and its carbon footprint. So bringing about change in behavior is not an easy task and requires efforts beyond awareness raising or education on scientific facts. It's all about finding a suitable combination for satisfying individual needs, stimulating value shifts, transitioning cultural norms, support by the government, and also, of course, having the technical solutions ready.
And some of the recent actions that are well combined and managed have given already good results so far. So, for example, most people in my generation take waste separation just as a normal habit, and many Germans are conscious of their consumption habits and ask for more governmental control, as it is quite hard to understand the impact of your daily actions. This can otherwise lead to effects which we call moral licensing. I can do one bad thing if I did something good before. So some people think if I always separate my waste properly, I can fly 3 times a year. But environmental behaviors shouldn't be a daily bargain and nor a personal choice. So supporting traditional German values such as buying high quality and durable items which align with the principle of sustainability could be a promising approach to a transition, or maybe, let's better say, a joint return to some of the German core values.
So in summary, the average German citizen has high sustainability values and a base of cultural values that, combined with government support, could lead to better personal choices, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And last question for this section. How does Fraunhofer contribute to sustainability? What's your mission and what are your sustainability goals?
Fraunhofer is Europe's biggest applied research organization with more than 70 institutes in Germany and Europe, and we are a non-commercial association and therefore have written in our charitable actions to contribute to national and societal objectives, which of course include sustainability targets and efforts. And beyond that, many researchers actively try to find sustainable solutions to provide answers that fight climate change or its direct consequences. In our department for environmental and reliability engineering, we, for example, supported the Fairphone team to develop and improve the first repairable smartphone. And although they still have a relatively small market share, it made the customers aware of the possibilities that there could be repairable smartphones, and now this forced bigger players to also provide a more sustainable product. And I believe that working at the intersection of research and industrial applications is a very important lever to translate scientific insights into usable solutions. And of course, we also provide reliability studies too, but also reliable studies, such as the Resource Saved by Recycling report that helps to understand actually the problem and also the urgency. And we advise to the government on a national and on an EU level to support sustainable legislation.
So, you cover a lot of actions from what we call sustainability, a lot of different fields and projects. I knew Fairphone, and I believe it's such a great idea, and I didn't know you supported this creation.
Yeah, I also knew Fairphone, so that's really impressive. And I am glad that we had the chance to invite you to the podcast because you are providing so much interesting information and insights both to us and our listeners.
Yeah, for sure. So, let's start with some discussion topics to start reflecting on the environmental issues we are facing today. From the INCREACE and Primus project, we would like to contribute to the challenge and make recyclates the new raw material alternative for our society. What's your opinion about it, Theresa and Ronja? How do you think we can make this possible, or at least what's your viewpoint from INCREACE?
Well, aside from finding reliable and scalable technical solutions to some of the current inhibitors, I believe that demonstrating that it is possible has a huge potential. So, for example, all of our business case owners are really convinced of the objectives, as are many of the others in the industry. So if we can demonstrate that it's possible, then all these people can act as ambassadors in their companies and say, see, they made it, it's possible, and the opponents can't hide behind excuses anymore.
Yes, you are right. Demonstrating that it is feasible to apply recyclates in new added value products is essential, and that's what we are doing in Primus and INCREACE. Aside from technological and regulatory challenges, the consumers could play an essential role for the circular plastic transition by increasing the demand of products that have recycled content. But most consumers lack information or are just not aware of alternatives, right?
Indeed, it is a complex challenge that we also try to tackle in the Primus project. And that's also why we aim our communication activities to citizen groups and people who are not experts in the topic.
Yes, indeed, as you say, increasing the demand for products that include recycled plastics could force industries to find solutions. But as we mentioned earlier, in Germany, people already believe that everything is recycled. And in our previous project, Police, user interviews showed the same. So average citizens believed that plastic products are already made from recyclates to a far bigger extent than the current rates actually show. So on the other hand, if products made from virgin or recycled content cost the same, there is still a tendency to believe that the virgin-made product will perform better. So the challenge is pretty complex and involves a combination of strategies that should be implemented by the different stakeholders, including the businesses, but also governments and consumer and environmental organizations. So at the moment, one of the challenge is that recycled solutions cost the same, if not even more than the virgin. And as long as recycling is not scaled, it's pretty hard for recyclers to become more cost effective. So we have an entire team within the INCREACE project actually working on the question on how consumers could be well informed about the environmental advantages and how this could also be translated into market advantages for each business case.
Yeah, informing consumers is essential.
Yes.
For instance, certification and labels could be developed and promoted to indicate that products are made from recycled plastic.
Yeah.
These labels can help consumers identify and choose wisely which are the most environmentally friendly products.
In this matter, I'm thinking that product designers can play a significant role in creating demand by creating attractive, functional, and innovative products that incorporate recycled plastic.
Indeed.
Obviously, these products should meet consumer preferences and needs and follow the circular economy principles.
Yes, that's very true. The design concept of a product plays a significant role for the implementation of recyclates as much as for the recyclability at the end of its life. So we see a shift in the design briefs towards more sustainable solutions, and designers actively ask for it. And there are other solutions but labels and marketing that we found. So for example, in current designs, usually they require the same appearance for all the products, but that's a problem with when you deal with like recycled content, because you can maybe not provide that amount of material for the consistent appearance. So we see that the designers start playing with the appearance and take that challenge to a new design aspect by making products that are either more individual or take the appearance as a signature. So, for example, you can see products that have now color sparks or a marble effect that actually the product itself shows that it's made from recyclates and is not trying to hide it. I believe that every company has to find their own strategy in promoting and using recycled content. So for some companies, they could really profit from highlighting the positive environmental impact in order to attract their conscious consumers, and others may profit more from helping their business clients to reach their environmental targets.
Yeah, it is extremely important to understand different stakeholders. It could also be a good idea to engage consumers in the company's sustainability efforts and learn from the feedback of their preferences and expectations regarding recycled plastic products.
Yeah, that's really important and really nice, but I don't think a lot of companies do it.
It's a shame.
Yeah. So, well, for this section, we brought so many interesting concepts. We could discuss about this for hours, but I'm afraid we shouldn't.
Yeah. We have made our research to bring the most innovative sustainable initiatives to Trash Talking today. So, Itzia, would you like to start with the sustainable technologies or projects happening in Germany that you find particularly exciting?
Yes, let's start. First, there is a German startup called Remix. It is a circular blender for your own glass jars. You can use any given glass jar to mix and store your food, which decreases plastics but also the water consumption for the cleaning.
Any glass?
Yeah, any glass. And the best is, their product is nearly entirely made from recycled plastics and easily repairable with a normal screwdriver. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it
I
is.
want one.
Well, I love it. It seems very practical.
Yeah, and I've seen the design and it looks great as well.
It's beautiful. It's true. Another successful startup which tackles waste with single-use cups is RECUP. Across Germany, you can get your coffee to go in the RECUP cup with a deposit of €1 and return it at any other restaurant which is part of the network. They claim that each RECUP can replace up to 1,000 disposal cups.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, but I've used that system and I think it's great.
And it makes so much sense to reuse instead of buying a new cup every time.
Yeah, of course.
No much left to finish today's episode. In the next section, we will be discussing some sustainability habits that we have implemented and try to inspire you to join us in this journey. Teresa, could you start by telling us how you personally contribute to sustainability in your everyday life?
Yeah, of course. In general, I would like to highlight that I think sustainable living is not about perfection and also not about abstaining from things you enjoy. But actually, it can be quite satisfying and fun. So, for example, I personally enjoy looking for second-hand products, which are usually quite unique and special. And I have to say that in Berlin, you actually have a wide range of options when it comes to reuse. So you can basically find anything from clothes to kitchen appliances and furniture in good quality. And other than that, I'm trying to implement repair more and more into my life. So this week, for example, I had to repair and replace my bicycle tube twice. But this is actually not a standard week, luckily. But I am also currently enrolled in sewing classes where I'm learning how to repair and upcycle my clothes.
That's an excellent approach. It is great hearing firsthand how someone is concerned and committed to making sustainable choices. I am sure our listeners will be inspired by this and hopefully will implement a lot of actions we talked about today.
So as you mentioned, Theresa, I guess we will finish today's episode about Germany with a kind reminder to consume consciously. We hope that everyone has a chance to reflect on it, and of course we will be more than happy if you leave us your thoughts in the comments or in any other social media platform. We would love to hear from all of you.
With this, we conclude another inspiring episode of Trash Talking. We trust that today's episode has provided you with additional insights to follow a more sustainable lifestyle.
A big thank you to both Ronja and Theresa and all the other people researching, innovating, and expanding the horizons of sustainable living. That's the information that keeps our conversations lively.
Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting us. It's been really a great pleasure to join the forces between Primus and the INCREACE project, and we are definitely looking forward to more collaborations.
Yes, we will for sure organize another one.
It was a pleasure having you both. See you soon.
We will be back soon with the next episode of Trash Talking. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, thank you and goodbye.
This podcast series is funded by the European Union. Views and opinions expressed are, however, those of the authors only and do not necessarily reflect those of the European Union or HADIA. Neither the European Union nor the granting authority can be held responsible for them.